With the upcoming release of Evil Dead, the game, and Evil Dead Rise, I figured it would be a perfect opportunity for me to talk about why I love the Evil Dead. And it starts with this. It was 2005. I was 8 years old, living in my childhood home. My brother had just came back from his friend Patrick's house, which was about 2 houses up from ours. Patrick let us borrow a movie, and little would I know, this movie would change my life. Later that night, after everybody had fallen asleep, I picked up the movie and looked at the cover. On the left, there was a guy with wacky hair, a purple shirt, and a chainsaw. On the right, there was a woman that looked crazy. And at the bottom, there was something that looked like a zombie. And the tagline said, "Kiss your nerves goodbye." The movie was Evil Dead 2. I hadn't seen the first one, but I didn't care. The cover intrigued me, so I took the movie out of the case and put it into the DVD player. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. As I was watching the movie, I was scared, I was laughing, but most importantly, I was having fun. I watched this guy chainsaw his girlfriend, talk to his reflection, have his hand get possessed, fight his hand, chainsaw his fucking hand off, go crazy, kill some deadites, become possessed, equip a chainsaw hand, and become an absolute badass hero. And just when I thought it was over, it wasn't. I was blown away. I could not believe that the movie ended like that. I told my dad about the movie the next day, and to my surprise, he had already seen the movie. And I asked him, was there an Evil Dead 3? And unfortunately, he said no. So that was it, right? No. A few days later, my dad called me into his room. He turned around with a movie in his hand, but I didn't recognize the title. But I did recognize a face on the cover. It was Ash, but he looked like he was in danger. And my dad told me, this is a sequel to Evil Dead 2. I needed to know what happened next, so I watched Army of Darkness. And it was the complete opposite of Evil Dead 2. There were knights, witches, skeletons, and a ton of slapstick. And you know what? I loved it. Evil Dead 2 was my introduction to the Evil Dead series, but Army of Darkness is where I fell in love with the character of Ash. He has so many iconic scenes in the movie. I love the addition of the new characters. Arthur, Henry the Red, Sheila, the Blacksmith, the Wise Man, and Evil Ash. From the pit to the ending battle, I loved the movie. In my opinion, it was the perfect conclusion to the Evil Dead series. But there was still one more movie that I didn't watch. My first time watching The Evil Dead was on an old school box screen TV, and I quickly found out that this movie wasn't exactly like the others. Yeah, it had some comedy here and there, but for the most part, it was serious and it was scary. The strongest aspect of The Evil Dead is the atmosphere. Easily the best of the entire series, in my opinion. The gore, the deadites, the Sam Raimi camera angles were all there, but one thing was missing. The character of Ash felt different. He wasn't very heroic, and didn't do much until later in the movie. I ended up liking The Evil Dead, but not loving it. It wasn't until a few more watches that I started to love the movie, and understand the impact it had on Ash's journey to becoming a hero. After watching the Evil Dead Trilogy, I was a fan of the series and of Bruce Campbell. I remember getting Army of Darkness action figures later that Christmas. Thanks, Dad. As a kid, I loved playing my PlayStation, and once I found out about the Evil Dead games, of course I had to play them. I have such fond memories playing Evil Dead: A Fistful of Boomstick and Evil Dead Regeneration. A few years later, we would get a new Evil Dead movie in 2013. Although it is my least favorite of the series currently, I still really enjoyed it, especially the gore. But the after credits scene had me wondering, would Bruce Campbell ever reprise his role as Ash? 2 years later, we got our answer. On October 31st, 2015, the first episode of Ash vs. Evil Dead premiered. After all those years, Bruce Campbell was back playing Ash, the same goofy, lovable hero he was in the movies. We also got a lot of really good new characters, such as Pablo, Kelly, Ruby, Ball, Chet, Brock, and Brandy. Even though it only lasted 3 seasons, I loved what they did with the show. I felt that Ash's character arc was truly complete. On August 25th, 2018, I got to attend my first ever horror convention in Indiana, where I got to check something big off the bucket list. I met the man himself, Bruce Campbell. They tell you to never meet your heroes, but I'm glad I did. He was everything that you would expect him to be. That weekend was one of the greatest experiences of my life. Now, I want to know, what is your story?